We like to grow peppers. Everybody loves them in salad. And there are sort of two big varieties of peppers, of course, hot and sweet. In my experience, I have better luck with hot peppers here in Tennessee than I do sweet peppers. But I love big bell peppers. And so I have been experimenting with a number of varieties. You can see I got several rows going here to see what does well for me. And I've been doing this for several years. And the more disease-resistant varieties tend to do better. No big surprise there. And I'll tell you in a minute what those are. But they all do better for me when I mulch them, which helps a lot with the even moisture. Like tomatoes, peppers and tomatoes are related. And like tomatoes, they like that even soil moisture. And so a mulch really helps with that. Another thing that mulch helps with is preventing the soil from splashing onto the leaves. That's the biggest cause of disease in my experience. And the biggest disease problems are bacterial spot, which is terrible, and various fungus type problems. And for those, I've recommended this for tomatoes, but boy, for peppers, this is the bomb. It's Daconil, now sold as Garden Disease Control. I don't know why they gave it a more generic name, but they did. And you spray this on according to directions for tomatoes, and it works great for me. Once again, you have to do it after a rain because it washes off, water washes it off, and it's good to try to get the underside of the leaves if you can. But just a pump-up sprayer, and with a little wand, it's easy to do. Just walk down the rows and give them a fog. Works great. But if good culture helps with a whole lot. I haven't had any bacterial problems or fungal problems so far this year. And I like to stake my peppers because these are fairly young plants. They're certainly growing heavily and huskily, but this will get taller, and once it starts setting those big fruit, it tends to flop, especially you get one of those summer thunderstorms and the wind front comes through and blows them down. So I will take the garden tie, and tie these up when they get a little bit taller and let them get the guidance of that bamboo stake. You can buy these stakes at any garden center. They're pretty easy to find. Varieties. What's done best for me? There's a kind called Keystone Giant Resistant. Does really well. It's a variety called Jupiter, which is not a hybrid. It's an open pollinated variety. It does really well. There's a variety called Charleston Bell, spelled B-E-L-L-E, like pretty girl, and that's done well. And the best of all, especially in the summer of '04, which was quite wet, at least in my part of Tennessee, and had tons of disease problems, the one that came out the best was one called Boynton Bell. And it did great for me. It was the only one that seemed to not be completely decimated by bacterial leaf spot and set really good fruit. So I would recommend any of those. One other type that's not a bell pepper but does just great no matter what for me is banana pepper, the old-fashioned long yellow. I love to saute them up with zucchini and some sweet onion. They taste great, and they just seem to kick here in Tennessee. They love it. So try my recipe for growing some good sweet peppers. They're good.